I found the ring on an ordinary morning. I was walking to the bus stop, thinking about nothing important, when something shiny caught my eye. It lay near the edge of the road, half covered in dust. I stopped. The ring was gold, simple but heavy. One small stone was loose, not broken, just slightly damaged. It didn't look cheap. It didn't look fake. People walked past it without slowing down. One man noticed it and looked away quickly, as if pretending not to see it would keep him honest. A woman glanced at it twice, then kept walking. A young boy tried to pick it up, but his mother pulled his hand back and said, "Don't touch things that aren't yours." I stood there longer than I should have. The ring felt out of place, like it was waiting. Finally, I bent down and picked it up. For a moment, I felt every eye around me. I expected someone to stop me, to say, "That's mine." But no one spoke. I didn't feel excited. I didn't feel lucky. I felt responsible. Someone had lost this ring. Someone would be looking for it. I slipped it into my pocket, already planning to ask around before my bus arrived. I didn't know then that this small decision, not to ignore it, would change how people saw me, and how I saw them. I started with the people nearby. "Did anyone lose a ring?" I asked casually, holding it up. A man sitting on the bench leaned forward immediately. "That looks like mine," he said. I asked him to describe it. He hesitated. "Gold, round. My wife gave it to me." It wasn't convincing. A few minutes later, a woman approached me. She looked nervous. "I lost my ring this morning," she said softly. "It's very special." "How?" I asked. She gave a long story, too detailed, too prepared. My doubt grew. Then another person spoke, and another. Each story was different. Each voice was confident. I noticed something strange. The moment people saw the ring, their behavior changed. Their posture straightened. Their voices became careful. Some smiled too much. Some avoided my eyes. No one asked where I found it. No one asked how I felt. They only wanted the ring. I realized how easily words could be shaped to fit desire. How quickly honesty bends when something valuable appears. Just as I was about to leave, an older man standing quietly at a distance spoke. "I can tell you exactly where that ring fell," he said. His voice was calm, not eager, and for the first time that morning, I listened. I decided to take the ring with me for the rest of the day, not to show it, just to keep it safe. At a small jewelry shop near my office, I stepped inside to ask if anyone had reported a lost ring. The man behind the counter noticed it immediately. He didn't ask why I was there. He stood up straight, his voice suddenly polite. "Please," he said, pointing to a chair. "Have a seat." I was surprised. When I placed the ring on the counter, his eyes widened slightly. He didn't touch it. He didn't ask questions. Instead, he spoke carefully, like every word mattered. "This is valuable," he said. "If you need help, we can arrange it." Arrange what? I wondered. Later that day, I entered a government office to submit a document. The line was long. People waited quietly. As I searched my bag, the ring slipped into view. The guard noticed. He walked over, glanced at the ring, and then at me. "You can come this way," he said, opening a side door. I didn't ask why. I didn't explain anything. I simply followed. Doors opened, voices softened, smiles appeared where there had been none before. I never said the ring was mine. I never said it meant anything. But everywhere I went, people decided it did. And that was when I understood something important. The ring wasn't changing my life. It was changing how people treated me. The strange part was this: I never told a single lie. Other people did it for me. At a cafe near my office, I overheard a whisper. "Did you see her ring? She must be connected." At work, a manager who had never learned my name suddenly remembered it. My request was approved without questions. Someone else's was delayed. I didn't ask for this, but I didn't stop it either. People assumed influence where there was none. They imagined power simply because they wanted to. The ring became proof of something invisible. One afternoon, I watched a woman argue with a clerk over a permit. She had been waiting longer than me. She was louder, more desperate. The clerk ignored her. Then he looked at me, at my hand, and nodded. "You're next," he said. The woman stared at me, hurt flashing across her face. I felt something twist inside my chest. This wasn't luck. This was injustice. I walked away without taking the permit, but the damage was already done. Later that evening, I heard someone say, "Rules don't apply to people like her. People like me." A lie had formed, not spoken, but believed. And belief, I was learning, could harm more than words ever could. I met the real owner of the ring on a rainy evening. I was leaving the jewelry shop when I noticed a woman standing outside, nervous, scanning faces as if she was afraid to ask the wrong question. Her clothes were simple. Her hands were rough, the kind shaped by work, not comfort. She looked at the ring in my hand and stopped breathing for a moment. "That's mine," she said quietly. There was no excitement in her voice, no greed, only relief mixed with fear. I asked her to describe it. She did, perfectly. The loose stone, the scratch inside the band, the exact place where it slipped from her finger while she was crossing the road. She told me it was not expensive. It was her mother's. Her mother had worn it every day until she died. The ring had survived illness, poverty, and time. Losing it felt like losing her all over again. I handed it to her without hesitation. Her hands shook as she held it. "People have been very kind to you today," she said suddenly, looking at my face. I could see it. I didn't answer, because kindness was not the word I would use. As she walked away, clutching the ring like a promise, I realized something painful. The truth was small, quiet, and fragile. The lie had been powerful, and returning the ring meant returning everything that came with it. The change was immediate. Without the ring, doors stopped opening. Smiles faded. Voices lost their softness. I stood in the same lines as before, only now no one noticed me. At work, my requests were questioned again. At offices, rules returned. The guard who once waved me through didn't recognize me anymore. People were not angry. They were disappointed, as if I had failed to be someone important. One woman who had once smiled at me whispered, "I thought you were different." I wanted to tell her the truth, that I had never been different, that I had only been seen that way. But I stayed silent, because truth, I learned, does not always feel powerful. It feels lonely. I had lost comfort, ease, attention, and I gained something much heavier: integrity. That night, as I walked home, no one looked twice at me. The street felt the same as it always had, but I wasn't. The ring taught me more than any lesson ever could. It taught me how quickly people believe what they want to believe, how easily respect is given, not to character, but to symbols. I never lied, and yet a lie grew around me. People protected it, used it, benefited from it. Until the truth arrived, quiet and inconvenient. I learned that honesty often costs more than lies, and that society does not always reward what is right, only what looks valuable. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I had kept the ring. Life would have been easier, but it would not have been honest. And that is the question I leave with you. If a lie gives you comfort, respect, and power, and the truth gives you nothing but peace, which one would you choose?